How you guys doing? You alright? This is lovely, this place. I'm in the museum. It's a British museum. My favourite museum personally in London. So I wanted to give you a tip today. It's a social anxiety tip that will change your life if you practice it. It's something that you've got to practice for a while. You've got to make it a habit. I'll first of all tell you a bit about my story. Years ago, probably about 15 years ago, my social anxiety was so bad that I didn't feel comfortable going out in public places. So places like museum, I knew these places existed in London. I wouldn't go inside them. I'd walk past them. Restaurants, museums, cinema, all places that are nice that most people want to go and gather and look around the history and just have a nice day out. But what would happen to me is this was my mindset. My mind would always I'd have a negative relationship. I'd always say, oh, they're not going to let me in, or they're going to make it difficult, or if I go in, I'm going to get embarrassed. I'm going to have to speak to someone and they might shout at me, or they might make me feel uncomfortable. So that was my rationale. That was how I thought. I didn't want to get uncomfortable. In order to venture out, I wanted to be in control of everything because I was so insecure and so nervous. But the worst thing about that was I just lost out on many good experiences. So obviously when I transformed and started working on my confidence before I got into teaching, I changed that. Every time I came into a situation where that thought pattern would come up, that habit, I would override it and say, well, let me go and find out for myself. And every time I would challenge that old thought pattern, I'd say 99.9% of the time, always positive things would happen. What my mind was saying was going to happen never happened in reality. And I was always able to handle, feelings of being outside of my comfort zone. And I always enjoyed it. And that's what gave me confidence. That's what changed the way that I thought. And that's what changed me as a person. But I had to first be brave enough to recognize what was going on, what my fears were, what my demons were and insecurities. So if that's something you're going through, you really want to challenge it. You don't see saving yourself from being uncomfortable in the long run is going to be the worst thing you can do in your life. The comfort zone is really the danger zone. It's the most dangerous place in the world if you stay in it long enough, because the mental health effects it has on you, how much you lose out on meeting new people, new opportunities, and your self-esteem, that gets attacked. And that can lead on to all sorts of things, depression, isolation, and you just start building this habit of cowering away all the time and not facing things, and that's not good for a human being. It's not good for the spirit. So it's something that you do over time. Obviously it took me time to do this, so you're going to spend some time doing it. It's going to be scary, it's going to be nerve-wracking, but it's like all fears. You face them and you overcome them. You realize that you're stronger than you think, and then you can build on each limiting thought that you have. And once you get proof that the limiting thought's not true, it no longer has control over you. It no longer has power over you. You've got control over your mind, your thoughts, and your actions, right? Fearless.